Jury selection for Sean Diddy Combs' federal trafficking trial could wrap up today, following 2 days of progress in court. Today, another dozen prospective jurors are expected to be questioned.
This is it for Hollywood. A new list of celebrity names linked to Diddy's trial has just been released, and some of them are absolutely shocking, so pay attention to what's coming next. Diddy himself admitted to the judge that he's nervous, and for good reason. The charges against him are severe, including racketeering and trafficking crimes, which could land him a life sentence if convicted. But the trial has already seen its fair share of drama, even before the main proceedings began. One of Diddy's lawyers withdrew from his defense team earlier this year, stating they could no longer effectively represent him. This is a bad sign for Diddy, as losing legal counsel mid-trial suggests even his own team sees the case as a losing battle. The prosecution has dropped names of celebrities who attended Diddy's parties, though it's important to note that attendance doesn't automatically imply wrongdoing. Still, being on this list is far from ideal for anyone involved, as it ties them to a case brimming with serious allegations. The names on the list range from actors to musicians, and even some unexpected figures. Reynolds, Jamie Foxx, Kevin Hart, Ellen DeGeneres, and Oprah Winfrey are among those mentioned. But the most shocking inclusion is Kamala Harris, whose name appears at the top of one section. This has sparked widespread speculation about her connection to Diddy and what it might mean for her public image. Other notable names include Leonardo DiCaprio, Kim Kardashian, Jennifer Lopez, and Will and Jada Pinkett Smith, all of whom have been linked to Diddy's social circle in the past. The trial is taking place in New York City, a jurisdiction with a history of high-profile cases and a justice system that some view as corrupt. This has led to skepticism about whether the trial will deliver the justice many are hoping for. The proceedings have already been anything but ordinary, with jury selection turning into a spectacle of its own. Prospective jurors are being asked about their connections to or opinions of various celebrities, including Robert Downey Jr., Mike Myers, and Michael B. Jordan. The latter's name came up due to an alleged altercation with Diddy over his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. The courtroom dynamics are equally bizarre. Diddy has been showing up in the same outfit day after day, leading to questions about whether this is a strategic move or simply an oversight by his legal team. There are no cameras in the courtroom, so the public is relying on reports from journalists and observers to piece together what's happening. One such observer is attorney Lisa Bloom, who represents a confidential witness in the case. Bloom has been tight-lipped about her client's identity, but confirmed that the witness is likely to testify against Diddy. She also represents another accuser, Dawn Richard, who has filed civil suits against Diddy alleging abuse and financial misconduct.
Why aren't we getting any photos or videos from inside the Diddy trial? And why is there no daily video feed the way there was with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case? That's because Diddy's being tried in federal court here in New York City. And in federal court, generally speaking, there are no cameras or electronic devices allowed inside. Now, a select few journalists are allowed to have a device, but they can only use them while they listen in the press room, not the courtroom. That means our only look at Diddy inside will be through courtroom sketch artists.
The trial has drawn comparisons to other high-profile cases involving powerful men and allegations of misconduct, such as the Epstein scandal. However, the speed at which this case is progressing has surprised many, especially given how long it took for Epstein's associates to face scrutiny. The Diddy trial feels like a tipping point, with the potential to expose not just one man's crimes, but an entire system of corruption and cover-ups in Hollywood.
1, 2, 3.
I'm not lying. Oh, they beautiful.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it. It was really nice meeting you guys.
As the trial continues, the question on everyone's mind is, who else will be dragged into this mess? The list of names is long and the connections are murky, but one thing is clear: Hollywood is on edge. The revelations from this trial could have far-reaching consequences, not just for Diddy, but for the many powerful figures who have partied with him over the years. The next phase of the trial promises even more bombshells, and the world is watching closely to see which names will surface next. The jury selection process has been particularly revealing, with some prospective jurors openly admitting their biases against Diddy. One juror claimed he believed Diddy could buy his way out of trouble, while another was dismissed after admitting he couldn't go without smoking marijuana for the duration of the trial. These moments of levity contrast sharply with the gravity of the charges, but they also highlight the absurdity of the situation. Meanwhile, the media frenzy around the trial shows no signs of slowing down. Every name dropped in court sends the internet into a frenzy, with speculation running wild about who knew what and when. For the celebrities on the list, this is a nightmare scenario. Even if they're innocent, being associated with a case like this can do irreparable damage to their reputations. And for those who may have witnessed or participated in wrongdoing, the pressure is mounting as the trial peels back the layers of secrecy surrounding Diddy's world.
Will P. Diddy himself testify? That decision is not made until pretty late in the trial. A lot of the decision making when it comes to who is going to testify for either side isn't about how important or powerful or famous they are. It's whether they're going to help build your case. And so I think it's very likely when you're dealing with parties that were attended by plenty of famous people in Hollywood, that some of them have been issued federal subpoenas already and have no choice but to follow the law, come into court, and take the stand.
The trial is also unfolding against the backdrop of the post-Me Too era, where public opinion on allegations of abuse and misconduct has become increasingly polarized. Some see this case as a continuation of the movement to hold powerful men accountable, while others worry it could further entrench skepticism toward accusers. Lisa Bloom, a veteran attorney in this field, noted that while progress has been made, the pendulum still swings back and forth when it comes to believing victims. As the first part of this saga unfolds, the stakes couldn't be higher. Diddy's legacy, fortune, and freedom are all on the line, and the outcome of this trial could redefine his place in history. But beyond him, the trial is a litmus test for justice in a world where power and celebrity often shield the guilty. The next phase promises even more revelations, and the world will be watching to see who else gets caught in the crossfire.
Truth will prevail that Mr. Combs has never assaulted anyone, adult or minor, man or woman. Combs has mansions, one in Los Angeles, one in Miami, and simultaneously, federal agents from Homeland Security investigations ended up, guns drawn, going in to both of those homes to seize evidence. They did this with a warrant. Cartons of evidence, a lot of it electronic, ended up being seized by those federal agents to help prosecutors build a case.
One of the most challenging aspects of cases like Diddy's is understanding why victims often delay coming forward, sometimes for years or even decades. Fear is the biggest factor. Fear of retaliation, fear of not being believed, and fear of the immense power their abuser holds. In Diddy's case, his status as a music mogul with deep industry ties and a reputation for aggressive legal tactics likely silenced many. Victims may have worried about career repercussions, social isolation, or even physical safety. The psychological toll of trauma also plays a role. Shame, self-blame, and the brain's way of coping with abuse can suppress memories or make speaking up feel impossible. Additionally, victims often wait until they see others come forward first, as the recent wave of accusations against Diddy demonstrates. There's safety in numbers. Once one person breaks the silence, others feel empowered to do the same. The delayed lawsuits and testimonies in this case follow a pattern seen in other high-profile scandals, from Epstein to Weinstein. For some, it takes years to process what happened, especially when the abuser is a beloved public figure. The legal system itself can be intimidating, with victims facing invasive scrutiny and character attacks. This trial has forced a difficult but necessary conversation about why justice for the powerful is so often delayed, and why believing victims, even when they speak late, is crucial.
Combs' defense team has said that the evidence so far is just an interference in the private life of Sean Combs. And what's depicted in videos or said by witnesses or alleged victims isn't crime. it's consensual sexual activity.
There's not the slightest inkling, according to the interviews that I've done, of anything that's coercive, non-consensual, and it was adults and consensual, and everybody who was there wanted to be there.
Now, however, witness testimonies begin to shed light on the inner workings of his infamous parties and the alleged crimes that took place there. The prosecution has started laying out its case, painting a picture of a man who used his wealth and influence to create an environment where illegal activities could thrive unchecked. Witnesses have described scenes of excess, coercion, and even violence, with some claiming they were pressured into participating in acts they later regretted. One particularly chilling account came from a former staff member who testified about seeing underage individuals at these gatherings, raising questions about whether Diddy and his associates may face additional charges related to exploitation. The defense, meanwhile, has been working tirelessly to discredit these witnesses, painting them as opportunists looking to cash in on Diddy's downfall. They've pointed to inconsistencies in some of the testimonies and highlighted the fact that many of these allegations only surfaced after Diddy's legal troubles began. But the sheer volume of accusations and the fact that some come from people with no apparent financial motive has made this an uphill battle. The defense's strategy seems to hinge on creating reasonable doubt, but with each new witness, the case against Diddy grows stronger. One of the most explosive moments so far came when a former close associate of Diddy took the stand. This witness, who had worked with him for years, described a culture of fear and intimidation, where dissent was not tolerated and loyalty was enforced through threats and retaliation. They recounted specific incidents where Diddy allegedly used his connections to silence critics, including paying off law enforcement and media outlets to keep stories from going public. If proven true, these claims could open the door to even more legal trouble for Diddy, including potential obstruction of justice charges. The trial has also reignited discussions about the broader culture of impunity in Hollywood. Many have drawn parallels to the Harvey Weinstein case, noting how powerful figures often operate with a sense of invincibility until the dam finally breaks. The difference here, however, is the sheer number of high-profile names tied to Diddy's world. The Diddy list has become a symbol of the interconnectedness of Hollywood's elite, and the trial is forcing many to confront uncomfortable truths about who knew what and who looked the other way. Outside the courtroom, the media circus shows no signs of slowing down. Every day brings new headlines, with outlets dissecting every piece of testimony and speculating about which celebrity might be named next. Social media has become a battleground, with supporters and critics of Diddy clashing over the credibility of the accusers and the fairness of the trial. Some have even suggested that the case is being weaponized for political or personal gain, though there's little evidence to support these claims. For the celebrities on the Diddy list, the trial has become a waking nightmare. Even those who insist they attended his parties innocently are finding it hard to shake off the stigma of association. PR teams are working overtime to distance their clients from the scandal, but in the court of public opinion, guilt by association is a hard stain to remove. Some have taken to social media to deny any wrongdoing, while others have gone silent, hoping the storm will pass. As the trial moves into its next phase, all eyes are on the prosecution's star witnesses. Rumors are swirling that at least one A-list celebrity may be called to testify, though their identity remains a closely guarded secret. If true, this could be the moment that tips the scales definitively against Diddy. The defense, meanwhile, is expected to call its own high-profile witnesses to vouch for Diddy's character, though it's unclear how much weight their testimony will carry given the mounting evidence against him. The trial's outcome is far from certain, but one thing is clear: the repercussions will be felt far beyond the courtroom. For Hollywood, this is a moment of reckoning, a chance to confront the dark underbelly of an industry that has long operated by its own rules. For Diddy, it's a fight for his freedom and legacy. And for the public, it's a gripping saga that blends crime, celebrity, and the enduring allure of scandal. As the world waits for the next chapter in this unfolding drama, the question remains: will justice be served, or will Diddy's wealth and influence once again prove too powerful to overcome? The answer, it seems, is still up for grabs.